Jehovah's Witnesses are trapped. Despite a long-standing reputation of being those kooky people who knock on doors, there was actually a time when Jehovah's Witnesses were a sincere religious movement, meaning their proselytizing was organic, born of a genuine belief that other religions were leading their parishioners astray, and the Jehovah's Witnesses entered the scene at just the right time in human civilization to save these poor souls from further lies and exploitation. In their own words, the faithful had reason for their faith, in the same way any of us can have faith that the sun will set and rise again tomorrow. Conversely, by their logic, other churches relied on tradition and loyalty at the expense of truth, and the whole idea that God is a mystery or God works in mysterious ways was a cop-out, an easy answer that didn't demand any substantive explanation from their religious leaders. But if you fast forward from their inception, their post-war conversion boom, to the present day, including a very awkward, disingenuous attempt to rebrand in the 21st century, you'll notice a problem emerge that's been there for some time, but is expressing itself with more ferocity than ever. The same people who criticized their competition for, namely, pastoral abuses and the expectation of blind faith despite those abuses, is now, in clear, unobstructed view, shamelessly employing a similar modus operandi to imprison their own adherents. Put simply, Jehovah's Witnesses, in 2026, are being openly threatened to obey their leaders at all costs. A lot of you watching are former Jehovah's Witnesses. A lot of us paid a heavy price for our freedom. Haven't seen our family in years. A lot of that family's still inside. We're not surprised by the type of language and tactics that the organization uses to keep our families entrenched. We're used to this type of speech. Fall in line, listen to direction, obey. But this is different. There is rising concern over an escalation, what seems to be an escalation of more extreme language, an escalation of this sentiment in recent years to obey, just being drilled into our families' brains, that our families should be preparing more so than ever before to listen and obey and follow authority. Just listen and obey no matter what they're told to do. This escalation is evident in a lecture given last month by governing body helper Jonathan Smith, who said Jehovah's Witnesses should be prepared to follow any instructions they're given, even if doing so, quote, seems to put their life in danger. And now this month, in the most recent installment of JW Broadcasting, a governing body helper from headquarters gives another one of these speeches, again, ramping up this call for blind obedience, something that, again, mind you, Jehovah's Witnesses spent years berating the churches of Christendom for. All right, so here are the most egregious talking points from this recent broadcast. I'm going to burn through this pretty fast. I cut out a lot of the pauses and facial affects for expediency to make this as painless as possible.
Whom is Jehovah using today? Jesus gave us the answer. Let's turn to Matthew chapter 24. Who really is the faithful and discreet slave? The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses makes up this group today. They provide the spiritual food, direction, and practical help for Jehovah's Witnesses around the world.
All right, so right there, they're laying the groundwork. Who is this mysterious, important group? Oh, look how convenient. We figured it out for you. We're the only ones. We're the only ones who figured this out. That's not enough.
Have we thought deeply regarding why we believe that? The Enjoy Life Forever book includes Lesson 54, What Proves to You that Jesus is leading the governing body? And do you believe that the governing body is the faithful and discreet slave? These are serious questions. How would you answer them?
We all know you better answer right, bitch, because if you disagree with our interpretation of Scripture, the JW Gestapo are going to come looking for you, charge you with conspiring to overthrow the regime. You'll instantly be labeled a pariah, possibly excommunicated from the congregation, and if your family's hardcore, they will never speak to you again.
It may be easy to follow direction when we agree with the direction given. However, it's more difficult when we're asked to do something that doesn't quite fit with what we think should be done.
Translation, you don't like something? Tough shit. You see, this is how it works. They want to make it absolutely crystal clear that your opinion, your conscience, doesn't matter. This is another key component to the conditioning. Put you in your place. Question your ability to think for yourself so that when you are down the road presented, with a questionable scenario, you don't dare to speak up for fear of the social consequences.
When we receive direction, even if it seems unnecessary or we have a different opinion, do we trust Jehovah enough to follow it. You never know if Jehovah's maneuvering matters for a reason. And even if not, he'll reward you for your loyalty.
Whoa, hold up. You admit, even if you guys pull an oops, turns out that direction wasn't from Jehovah. You were just blindly following some scheme that we cooked up, fall on the sword for us, suffer whatever legal or familial fallout as a result of our possible criminal activity. Well, it's the thought that counts. Jehovah's going to give me gold stars anyway.
What form will that direction take? Will it make sense to us? If we have complete confidence in Jehovah and His Son, we'll be ready to follow the direction of those taking the lead.
All right, pause, Guido. Speak it out both sides of your mouth. It's one thing to have complete, total confidence in Jehovah and Jesus. It's a whole other thing to conflate that with a board of directors. I got a scripture for you. It's called Psalms 146:3. All right, and until they have the ability to part the Red Sea or strike me with leprosy, you can f right off.
We have imperfect humans trying their best to follow the direction of their perfect leader. One astute, longtime circuit overseer often said about Jehovah's arrangement, "This is the best imperfect organization on earth." Well said.
This is something that always bothered me, even back when I was a witness. Why do you get a free pass, but other religions don't? We never extended, and you still don't. You don't extend the same grace to believers of other faiths, other religions and churches, always telling other people that they should demand moral excellence, scriptural truth, transparency, accountability from their religious leaders. But somehow this doesn't apply to you. Everyone else has to question their religious leaders, but we don't. All right, this is blatant hypocrisy and just absurd mental gymnastics.
The same is true today. Never forget what you have. Where else will you go for the guidance, spiritual food, and comfort that Jehovah provides through His organization? There is nowhere else to go. Don't let the things you do not understand blind you to what you have.
The where else are you going to go fallacy. You know who else says this kind of thing? Wife beaters. This is the same scare tactic employed by narcissists and psychopaths. I don't need to have another boyfriend or partner lined up before I can leave this abusive relationship. They don't need you, and they will love again.
Obedience may mean our lives. Now is the time to be fully convinced of how Jehovah directs His organization. We may think of the drama, Commit Your Way to Jehovah. That drama prompted all of us to consider how we would respond. If we were told to do something we may feel is a bit extreme or not needed.
And there it is. I don't like it. It's getting worse. Jehovah's Witnesses, like I mentioned before, they've always been a controlling organization. They talk about Armageddon, fear-mongering. That's not new. Correct me if I'm wrong, any old-timers watching. Never before have they suggested, we might ask you to do something extreme, for the organization or to protect yourself or in the name of Jehovah that seems extreme to you. That's new. And there's, of course, been a lot of speculation about what this means. Oh, no, are they going to pull a Jonestown? Rest easy. Highly, highly doubt there would ever be any sort of mass-engineered casualty situation. But what if it's, hey, if the cops come by, you tell them X, Y, Z. If you get subpoenaed and, you're sworn in on the Bible, it's not our Bible, so it doesn't count. The Scientologists have something called fair game. Jehovah's Witnesses have something called theocratic warfare. Lying is okay under these circumstances if it protects the organization. Something like that. They're facing mountains of litigation, so something of that flavor could happen. Could it be that they are setting up the rank and file to take the fall for their crimes? I don't know, My beef has never been with, I've said this before, my beef has never been with individual Jehovah's Witnesses, the little guy. It's a son of a bitch at the top that I don't trust. I have an issue with the leadership. So, that's where I think this is going personally. Jehovah's Witnesses have been conditioned to believe that their trials and tribulations are coming from Satan's world, coming from the outside. The outside world, Satan's system is out to get them. But I don't know, like lambs being led to the slaughter. What if all this preparation means that they're about to be eaten by their own?
At times, one's become disgruntled with decisions that are made or how things are handled in the organization. And this has caused some to slow down, become inactive, or stop associating with the congregation. Sadly, they fail to understand that, as in the nation of Israel, things will not be managed perfectly because of the fact that all who are being used are imperfect. So where will such ones go to find perfection?
This really pisses me off. Jehovah's Witnesses don't care about perfection. They care about truth. All right, meaning if they're in it for the right reasons, that's what they care about. They're seeking truth. And you're sitting there just trying to deflect responsibility. I see what you're doing. You're deflecting responsibility, trying to make it look like the rank and file are just picky, high-maintenance morons. No, this incessant push for blind obedience is a direct response to the fact that more and more Jehovah's Witnesses every day are waking up to your lies. All right, it's really convenient to deflect responsibility onto your parishioners to excuse your own corruption. All right, give me a break. No one's asking for perfection, and you know that. You know what this is about. No one's asking for perfection, but they have every right to demand accountability from the people who are demanding it from them. Jehovah's Witnesses have to fall in line, but you don't? Bullshit. Yeah, this won't end well. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to end well. This is a disaster waiting to happen. And if you're a witness who happens to be watching this, it's time to evacuate. You're not crazy. You are not wrong. Yes, you have basis for your doubts. You are not wrong. I used to be in your shoes. Any guilt or trepidation or hesitation that you feel now, I guarantee will dissipate when you actually save your life by getting out sooner than later. I'll leave a link to the broadcast if you want to torture yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like more information about the Jehovah's Witnesses from a former member of 30 years, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.